Hello and thanks for checking out ChartGuys.com. We're proud to be one of the most successful technical analysis communities online, teaching you the skills to become a more confident, effective, and informed trader. Join our community of hundreds of analysts worldwide working together to learn the charts, generate profit, and achieve financial independence. For access to daily live chart analysis and market coverage, a thriving chat community, along with dozens of hours of exclusive educational materials. We look forward to seeing you. Let's check out some charts. Hello, Canadian MJ friends. My light bulb just blew out, so I'll have to replace that. And we also got some stone cutting going on outside, so we can pretend it's a post-apocalyptic technical analysis version here, but we're just going to wing it. So, we're looking at the major names. I want to talk about the observation that I made yesterday, and a lot of people had pushback saying, you know, all the US MJ names were weak as well. And when I make observations, what I'm trying to do is stay ahead of the herd. And I almost want to see people pushing back and saying no and disagreeing, because if something's obvious and everybody knows it, it's too late. We want to be ahead of the herd. We have to be making observations and acting on them before they're obvious to everybody. That's when CNBC starts to talk about things. So when I saw yesterday that the top 5 performing names in the MJ sector were all US names, that's absolutely worth noting to me. And it's an observation that I verbalized. I didn't act on it in any way. That now tells me pay attention, watch today, and look for a pattern. Obviously, we did not see that today. The top 5 were a mix of Canadian and some US as well. So that's telling me, okay, it's not a significant pattern. But I'm going to now keep an eye out for it. And whenever I see a couple days in a row consistently, it's going to stand out to me. And again, it's not going to be, you know, a lot of people are going to recognize it when that correlation's been going on for weeks at that point. And I want to already be well ahead of that recognition. So when I voice an observation like that, that's pretty much what I'm doing in my own mind. And when I do these videos, I'm just trying to verbalize what I do subconsciously in my mind as I'm trading. So today, gap downs are for buying. You can all say it with me. 3 times in the last 6 days, we have seen a gap down buy lead to a profitable day, and not just a small gain. These are significant gains where even just the open to the close, we've seen significant follow through on these gap down days. Again, it's not an always every time kind of thing. You have to protect against it because sometimes it doesn't work. But as a rule of thumb, it tells you which direction to be looking, and then you can make observations on smaller time frames and establish your game plan and all that. But it's a nice, easy rule of thumb. If this is happening, let's look at the possibility of this most likely scenario. So I ended up trading CGC today. I bought in a normal position, which used to be way more in terms of dollar amount because it's just a solid share amount that makes the math easy for me and is easy for flipping. And so finally realizing today how significant the change has been just due to the dollar volume of these orders. But entered the bull move and I exited fairly quickly. As soon as we saw this significant bounce, I was scaling out. I got in a little bit late, actually. I didn't get the initial open. I bought in and ended up filling in the mid 32s, maybe even towards the upper 32s. And then I did exit on this way up. And I exited early. I exited into this bull flag on the 2-minute time frame. And it was a bit premature on my part. And I lacked the patience to let it play out. It would have been a multiple week maker. Instead, it was a very solid day, almost a week maker. So I ended up locking in that profit because I'm trading against the trend. And whenever I'm trading against the trend and the market's shaky and I have a very solid win under my belt, it's very hard for me not to lock that in because, again, I'm never going to go broke if that's what I do every single day. So I've been trading just one trade a day the past couple of days and locking that trade in within the first half hour. And I'm practicing getting ready to be able to, you know, start actively trading, but be away from the computer a lot more and, you know, make my first trade in the first half hour and then be done for the day and come back tomorrow. So that's what I'm striving to work towards. That's a section of my game that I want to strengthen. So ended up selling too early. I sold, not giving the 2-minute higher low a chance to play out. So I sold on the initial consolidation here. And then we obviously saw that other leg up that ended up showing a lot of strength. Now, at the end of the day, SPY had a significant bull move and CGC and Canadian MJ did not follow. So just looking at the 15-minute time frame, this is the end of the day for CGC, and we compare that to SPY, and that's the end of the day. So it's completely different, and that's a bit of a red flag because the SPY bounce is now just starting to try and get some follow through. If you saw the video yesterday, we noted the end of the day volume in the tech sector And the fact that we saw today start the morning in just straight up continuation and significant bull volume, that's notable to me. So the SPY bounce is getting some momentum that we have not seen yet behind it. And CGC was not strong at the end of the day. So what we're watching in terms of tightening ranges into tomorrow is these support levels and these resistance levels. 3 supports, 3 resistances. Keep it nice and simple. We'll see which breaks first. Keep in mind that the 4-hour trend is not going to change on this bounce attempt. This bounce attempt, anything under $40 is a lower high. So when you dump 15% in one day and you only bounce 3% the next day, it's not entirely encouraging, but it's the start of the bounce, and anything under 40 will be a lower high. So the scenario in changing this trend is likely going to be, can't get rid of all these lines and draw at the same time, but a lower high and then pull back, and the bulls will have to form a higher low compared to 3170 and then get the bull break into continuation. So otherwise, we're just looking for a 4-hour lower high to be set on this bounce currently on CGC. So watch those 15-minute tightening ranges, and we'll see if we can get follow through in both SPY and CGC. And actually, that's a good point. Why did I exit early this morning? SPY was a reason for that. And it was in these lines. There's a saw too. This is great. It was a misread on my part. So I looked and I saw SPY significantly pulling back from this initial bull move. And sorry, I should have had this chart up, but we'll just pull back to it now. So SPY on the first consolidation saw a significant pullback, and I was trying to avoid that. It actually might have been, not sure which consolidation period it was, but I remember looking at SPY and saying, that's more pullback than I'd like to see. I want to lock in this profit in case this consolidation starts fading back down towards the low 32s. So again, it's nice to have mistakes made with big wins, but I could have had a huge win. So I will look back at that and make note and shift a bit for the next time around. ACB on the daily time frame, gap down for buying. So here on the 4-hour time frame, again, just to get perspective, anything under 769 is just a lower high on the 4-hour time frame. And from where we stand right now, that's another 25%. Let's see, that's almost 30% from where we currently stand. So we can anticipate that we're unlikely to break that level, and we will likely set a 4-hour lower high and need the higher low and higher high move. Obviously, news would change anything to do with this, but this is the current setup. The bounce has a long way to go before we start changing trends. We're trying to change trends on the hourly, have to do it on the 4-hour, and then eventually have to do it on the daily, but that's a long ways out. APH on the daily time frame. It'd be funny if I did the wrong ticker again. I could hear about it in 2 years. APH on the daily. Gap down for buying. Hourly time frame, we have a little bit of a fade at the end of the day. Again, no correlation to SPY. So we're looking at the high of the day as resistance of 1395. On the 4-hour time frame, anything under 1677 is just a lower high on the 4-hour chart. So again, no matter how solid these bounces are, unless they are huge bounces, we are going to set 4-hour lower highs. So be prepared. If you're trying to nail this bottom, be prepared that you're going to have to sit through 4-hour consolidation and hope that the bulls can change this trend. That's counter the trend. So that's why I'm locking in short-term gains as I have them. Once the 4-hour trend changes, I'll be holding my bullish trades longer because we'll have that momentum with the bulls. In terms of support levels, the bulls really want to hold hourly consolidation. So let's go back at all these names real quick to get the hourly higher low that we need and the most important support level short term. So CGC, it's 3305. ACB, most important level to me is 575. APH, couple levels, it's 1318 and then 13 even. Cron on the daily time frame, bulls bought the dip. The hourly time frame, very similar. Did get a little bit of bull action there at the end of the day, it looks like. So support, we have 2 levels here at 690 and then down to 671. High of the day will be resistance, and again, the 4-hour, anything under 848 is just a lower high on the 4-hour time frame. Long way to go for the bulls. TLRY, not as much upside. So we're looking at how this bounce played out on the hourly time frame, and key supports down at 87.56 and 86.88, but you can see we did not close anywhere near the high of the day. There's 2 resistance levels to watch, 93.86 and 95.40, and the 4-hour, anything under 115.25 is just a lower high. So again, 4-hour time frame is the time frame I'm watching to look for when the bounce is for real. and that's when we'll get some momentum on the daily time frame. But until then, we have to be skeptical. We have to make the bulls prove it to us, and we have to be watching the market correlation. And again, the fact that SPY saw that end of the day bull move and a lot of tech sector names were closing at the high of the day, to not see Canadian MJ participate in that at all, definitely a little concerning. We'll see what tomorrow brings. We'll see if we can break the high of today. We want to give that confidence first thing. Break the high of today in the first half hour of trading tomorrow, and the bulls are a lot more confident than if we struggle to break that high for the first hour and a half of trading and it looks like, oh, we might not break it today. So the sooner you break it and the more conviction you get, the better the follow through in general. So that's where we stand. One thing to note, so going back to observations, Medmen is seeing big bull buying at the end of the day, 2 days in a row now. So this is a pattern I make note of. And we look and we can see the last 45 minutes of trading yesterday, a huge move from 420 to 475, over a 10% move. And I was looking for it today, and it looked like, oh, it's not going to show up. And then the last 10 minutes of trading, a huge bull surge, the highest 5-minute volume candlestick of the day, aside from the first 5-minute candlestick, and then big follow through the second candlestick. So it's the second time where we've almost closed pretty much break even, just below break even, on a move that's out of nowhere at the end of the day to give a lower wick. So it's worth watching Medmen and the daily inside bar that formed. And I have been establishing a position of Medmen down here the last couple of days, very slowly scaling in, small positions comparative to what I day trade with, and fully prepared to add if we drop under $4 without any kind of bounce on the daily. But taking it one day at a time, and again, just very slowly scaling in and looking for a weekly higher low to form. That's all I got. We'll see what tomorrow brings. I appreciate you watching, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.